Hello, I'm Sam Roberts, and you are watching AMBY.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia from AMBY, and I would like to welcome you to our interview with Sam Roberts. Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Great, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. We just started off, we were talking about almond milk.
Yes, we were.
Before the camera started rolling.
Would you care to tell everybody what your thoughts
Not a fan.
are? Not a fan.
No. Not in
on
a
the same page.
cappuccino.
No.
It just doesn't work.
I just think not in any form.
Yeah, I'm not, no. I've never actually tried it before, but that was my first venture into the world of almond milk through a cappuccino, and it just didn't work at all.
It'll probably be your last venture.
Yep, I'm done.
Well, aside from kicking it off with almond milk, I want to discuss TerraForm, latest record release.
Yeah, from one thing to another, yeah.
Now that it's been a little bit out, what are your thoughts on the record? How are you feeling about everything right now?
It's weird how you don't just have one sort of relationship with the music that you make, that it changes all the time. And, it goes from when you're sitting in your basement and you're writing it and you're wondering how this is going to be accepted, not just by the world, but just first and foremost by your bandmates or your friends and your family. And then you go to the studio and it becomes something else. It becomes this project, something that you're working on, all these details, and you kind of lose perspective of the greater whole. And then you get to the next phase, which is wondering how the hell you're going to play this on stage every night, and what that's going to, what that'll be like, which songs are going to cooperate and which songs are going to give you a hard time. And so we're sort of in that phase right now where we're sort of wrestling this record to the ground and trying to figure out, where we feel most comfortable playing it, and incorporating it into all the other music that we've made. And so that part of the process is kind of daunting, but also really exciting. It's unpredictable. Every night's different. You never know if you're going to get through a song from start to finish.
Yeah.
You hope you do. But so yeah, we're sort of in the infant stages of touring this record, and so far it's been a lot of fun.
For me, I really love this record because there are some fantastic love songs on it. But you're able to tackle, as you've said before, the beauty and the ugliness of love. So what made you want to venture into that?
Well, yeah, love's it's a tough, thing to talk about with any sort of honesty sometimes. And we can talk about it as this glorious, glowing thing, this infallible thing. But I think when we live through it, and when it's been in your life, for myself, again, I've been married for a long time, and I've been with the same person for a long time. It takes so many different shapes and shades, and I think when you're writing a love song, like you say, it's sort of it can be difficult to acknowledge the fact that it's an
there are
ever-changing.
two sides of it.
And it's very difficult to pinpoint any sort of one definition of it, or it never really stays in one phase for a very long time. And that's part of the beautiful thing about it, is that it is sort of ever-changing. And so yeah, I think this record in particular just sort of felt the need to write music about how it's been for me in my own life. And then of course you're always hoping that by writing a song like that, you're sort of reaching out there and trying to find other people who have lived through the same thing.
Have you always enjoyed a good love song? Have other people been able to do that for you, where you can connect to them and almost do what you're trying to do with your fans?
Absolutely. I love I've always loved, not necessarily the big 80s power love ballads,
Yeah.
although even then I kind of have a bit
Some
of
of those are pretty good.
I love there's some good ones, so let's not bash those too hard. But again, there've been so many great love songs, but so many songs that speak of love in again a sort of sometimes a more brutally honest way. And I keep saying the word love now, but
We love love.
I like hearing those as well.
There's some very cool nods and hints of electronica and psychedelia on this record. So was that attributed to who you were listening to at the time, or possibly having Graham Walsh on the record?
For sure. I mean, I think the fact that we ended up working with Graham Walsh was, testament to the fact that he's very comfortable wearing a lot of different hats in the studio and in the music that he makes in his own his own time and his own life, and I think that sort of grew out of the fact that our demos definitely had that leaning. So then it becomes a question of sort of, okay, which producer do we feel can bring something to this, can help sort of tie all this together, and why do we start leaning towards one sort of kind of music? Or it's not, I don't even think of it as kinds or genres of music. It's just sort of what palette of colors are you drawing from, are you painting with? And sometimes that's affected, by as simple a thing as going out and you buy a new guitar, and the guitar sounds that much different from the guitar next to it.
And then it just
a different tone, and it just sort of, it eggs you on, and it inspires new thought, just through the nature of the sound itself. And the same thing happens with, synthesizers. And you got a new synthesizer, and all of a sudden it's the only thing that you want to put, the only instrument that you want to write with.
Yeah.
And that's, not to sort of demystify it too much or take all the romance out of the creative process, but sometimes it's as accidental as that. Most of the time it feels accidental.
Sometimes you hope it's as easy as that.
Yeah, just getting a new keyboard, and you're just obsessed with sort of going through the banks of sounds and fooling around with it, and all these ideas are just generated out of it, and that was very much the case with this record and previous records as well.
A single that I'm really digging is If You Want It, which you've shared is about a trip to hell and hopefully making your way back. You have to tell me more about that.
Well, I grew up a Roman Catholic, so hell is always there, it's always just over the horizon. But the song started with this piano riff that had been kicking around for a long time, and there've always been songs in our sort of our catalog, or whatever you want to call it, that they just don't go away. It'll be this little riff that just comes back, and you can't really figure out what it's supposed to belong to, which song it's supposed to belong to. And this was one of those songs, and this piano riff was just there, and it got to the point where it's just like, all right, that's it. Got to write this song. I'm going to start with this and make sure that if I don't do anything else, that I'm going to at least give this riff a home and make it, make it belong to something. So why it turned out to be, again, my Catholic roots is probably why it turned out to be about a trip to hell and back. But I also like the fact that the song itself, the music and the story don't necessarily fit. It's not like the music to me evokes an image of hell. That's not what I was thinking about. Yeah. And sometimes that tension between the two is what I find compelling in a song, is that you have this sort of kind of uplifting music and then a song that's about something much darker. It speaks to a darker part of the human experience.
Before hearing your take on it, what I took away from the song when I first heard it is things sometimes have to get worse in order to get better.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think, that's... I'm not saying that I'm out to deliver life lessons all the time, but I think that's something that
it's up for interpretation.
We can all agree that's, I think that's true to a lot of our own experiences, for sure.
This serves as your 6th record. Does it feel a little bit surreal to you that this is the 6th album that you've put out?
Yeah, I don't really, I try not to dwell too much on what part of our,
where
we are in terms of our career path. I like to think of every record as a starting over point, and I'm not just speaking for myself, but also for my bandmates, that we really invest a lot of our energy into the bulk of our energy into looking forward and trying to define or open up a future for ourselves, rather than to, as much as we're appreciative of the fact that we've been able to do this for quite a long time, and that it's been a very, very beautiful journey, every step of the way. Our mission is to look forward, and when you sit down to write music for a new record, you can't sit there and dwell or ponder all the great things that have happened to you, or even the wrong turns that you've taken. You have to think,
what's the next great thing?
Think ahead, and know that these songs are going to be the gateway to that. These songs either are going to open or close doors for you in some way, and so you throw your energy into that.
Looking forward to seeing that the tour does kick off tonight and that you have played all over the place. Is there anywhere that you would still love to take Sam Roberts Band that you've yet to?
Yeah, there's so many, untapped places, frontiers. My parents are from South Africa. I've always dreamed of going and playing tour, not just playing one show there, but going and touring in South Africa and having my family. I've got a huge family down there who've never had a chance to see us play. So,
okay.
If I were to pick one spot, and there are many more than that, but if I were to pick one place, it would be there.
I just want to do a little quick fire round with you. So I'm going to ask a question.
All right.
Whatever comes to mind first.
My brain is slowing down though. Hey, the fire rounds fire rounds are getting a little tougher. All right, I'll go on.
All right, who would your dream jam session be with?
Oh my God. Jimi Hendrix.
And what's the best thing a fan has asked you to sign?
Best thing a fan has asked me to sign was their wheelchair.
Okay, That's a new one. Haven't heard that one yet. And then for the next one, what's the worst job you had as a teenager?
Definitely working at a bleach factory. That was bar none the toughest one. Yeah.
Do you prefer singing in the car or the shower?
I can definitely go with shower on that one.
Do you have a go-to song?
I shout at my kids in the car now. I used to sing in the car, but now I'm always telling my kids to be quiet.
Oh, from singing to shouting.
Yeah. So I don't have time I have no time for singing in the car anymore.
For the last one, what's your favorite snack right now?
Ooh, chips.
Chips? Yeah. A specific kind? Is there a specific
Salt and
kind?
vinegar chips.
Okay.
Yeah, I've entered a real chip phase of my life. I'd say in the last 3 or 4 years, and it becomes, it's a problem when it becomes sort of like a ritual. That at certain time of the day you start to, it's time for my chips today.
When's chip time?
Around 5:30.
Okay.
Chips and beer. And the thing is, I say chips, but it's really the beautiful relationship that chips have with beer.
All right.
I think chips on their own are one thing, but the two things together.
It's a beautiful marriage.
Yeah. It's very special.
Just to wrap everything up, I want to leave it on the fans. Anything you want to say to all of those who will be viewing?
Well, yeah, thank you to all of our fans that have been with us over the years, who are so dedicated and passionate and give us the fortitude to keep making records, the records that we think are important and not the records that we we feel will live up to a set of expectations. So your trust in us is very much appreciated. And to any new fans or people who don't know who the hell this is talking to you on the screen, we've made a lot of records, and we'd love it if you just gave it a shot and hopefully find some music that means something to you. So
give them a shot. These guys are fantastic. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me
today.
My
pleasure. It's nice to finally get a chance to talk to you.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And remember, to everybody viewing, you can visit us at musicblogget.com for all exclusive interviews, features, videos, and so much more. See you next time.
Bye.